my bad. I didn't see you come back. You ready to do this, homie?
Hey, everybody, it's the POS podcast. How the heck are you? It's me and Bobby. No guests, just us. What up, Bobby?
Hey, Pat. How's it going, buddy?
Hey, indeed.
Sorry I didn't have a better way to pop to you after the open. Should keep that music going a bit. What do you think?
Well, I don't want to pull the curtain, but the way you do it, I don't hear the music. So I just stare at a photo and then I hope when it's done that it's time to talk.
I'm gonna be honest. I forgot what I meant to apologize when we started the show with. I meant to apologize for not sharing the sound with you.
As long as the people got to dance, that's all that matters.
I'm the only one watching us right now.
I've told you this before. I just mean later on. Even if it's not the live, just later on when they do it, they're not just staring at the thing. But I've talked about this many times before. But one of my guilty pleasures in life is I like to watch reaction videos. Mostly, young black people react to things from a long time ago. And recently, I found this one
Slavery.
guy.
No, I didn't like that shit, yo. That shit was mad fucked up.
That is not anything I'm talking about. And I like that you appropriate a voice, but also did it the whitest way possible. So I give you credit for that. But
Triumvirance? That's some bullshit.
Wasn't he that talking dog? That is a reference that went just to you, I think.
I got it.
But there's a I was watching one like so smooth or some guy, I forget what his name is. It's from 2 years ago, but it just for some reason it came into my YouTube feed, I believe, because I went on a deep dive of like Beastie Boys videos one day. I was looking for a song. Lately, some clubs are like, you should have entrance music. So I've been messing around with stuff, and I now use a Beastie Boys song. I never like to use entrance songs, but whatever. I use them. So
What are you coming out to?
what you call it? Make some noise.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a fun video. You don't see the video. It's the beginning noise. It gives a little energy at the beginning. So, but I was watching that, so this popped up, and I don't know if you know the video of Intergalactic by the Beastie Boys. Remember it? But the robot comes down from space. It's a typical Beastie Boys, super cheesy but fun and silly video where they're running around the streets. Remember, this is also from the 90s or like maybe 2000, but I want to say like 98, somewhere at that time. But
and it's a music video, so the CGI is not going to be there.
Well, and on purpose, not supposed to be. Like, this is supposed to be so it looks like the old cheesy. The robot pops into you can tell it's a tiny fake village. It's walking and it's fighting like this squid wizard thing, whatever. They pop out of it, and it's the old school style that I'm used to when people used to make a video but not have to tell people because the world didn't have cameras. So not only are people like the Beastie Boys dancing around the streets, but you see everyone's faces like what's going on because they weren't clued in they were going to be in a video, which makes it more fun. But this young kid who's watching it, first of all, starts off by going, he's like, yeah, there's this new group people keep suggesting, the Beastie Boys. It's like, it's so adorable that this 20-year-old guy thinks that the Beastie Boys are new. And then he watches this one, he watched the 3M season 1 DJ, and he was like, man, they really flow well. Like, hopefully things pick up for that. I'm like, are you not even seeing the views underneath that they're in the millions? Like, but okay, whatever.
Or
So
like,
he goes, I'm doing a second one. People are telling me that these guys have been around for a while. I'm not sure what town they're from. It's like, how do you not know they're from New York City? Like, I don't. But anyway, I'm enjoying it more and more because his ignorance, he's still enjoying it. He's loving it like the first time I heard it. So that's kind of cool that this young black gets into it. When this video happened, he just goes, yo, this robot's fighting a wizard. This is the greatest video ever. And then he couldn't even pay attention to the music because a robot was doing karate on a squid wizard. And he's just like, this is the greatest thing of all time. And I'm like, I want to watch the world through that man's eyes, where everything is just the best and shiny.
you mean like actually having joy and happiness?
I got that. I think ignorance would still be nice.
Yeah.
Naivety, a little bit.
I mean, there's a sci-fi book that really gets into this, but there's this whole thing about, do you want to be smart or do you want to be happy?
I don't want to be 100% happy, and I don't want to be 100% smart.
Right.
But I don't want to be 50-50 either.
Yeah, so which way do you want to lean?
I think 70-30 in favor of happy, because I think I become happier the more I don't know, and I want to learn more the more I don't know. I think if I was 20, I wouldn't want that, because I would like, oh, if I don't know something, that's dumb. It's like, no, it's better to not know than think you know.
That makes sense. Yeah, no desire. You would think you would know everything, if that makes sense.
I enjoy people more when I think I can learn from them rather than think they're just bothering me.
I guess I've never had the first one.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
That's because, but I've definitely run into someone where I'm like, oh, I mean, you're a good person, but I'm never going to gain anything from knowing you besides knowing a good person. And that's not terrible. But at the same time, I'd rather meet someone who knows things I don't, or at least wants to learn things too, or at least is on board with me wanting to learn things, rather than someone going, you're supposed to be this way, and I'm always going to be this way, and that's how it stays. And I'm like, ugh, and then walk away.
I get that too. I feel the same. Although, I don't know, because I do enjoy just good people that it's like I don't have to try to learn anything from you. I can just, you know what I mean, enjoy your, I don't know.
But those people, without meaning to, will teach you something.
That's
like, it teaches you patience with others, because you're like, hey, if I've taken the chance on this person and just being around them is a good time and I can be less stressed out, maybe I can get that from other people. So you do learn a sense of like, calm from that kind of person, rather than a person that every time they talk, you're like, you feel like they're almost trying to lecture you, or like they feel like they speak to you because they feel better, because they feel like they're above you. That kind of mentality.
I see what you're saying.
I just walk away from a little bit. So
I've been doing that some too.
Like, you've been doing that to people?
Walking away from those situations where it's like,
I thought you meant just
no.
Yeah, I'm in school info, walking up. Hey, moron. Hello, tool.
No, just literally what you said. It's like, is this situation going to bring me something through either learning or through peace of mind? And if not, if it's only bringing you down, then it's just do less of it.
Even if I don't learn anything valuable, like if someone's like, hey, I went and saw the new Indiana Jones, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll never see that, but yeah, tell me about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Bill Schultz.
He saw it?
No, that's gonna be my guy. Where it's like, I have no intention of ever seeing this, but
it got
the
reviews are brutal.
Oh, then I may have to see it just to make fun of it.
And I guess Harrison Ford's getting destroyed on like how they CGI'd his age down a little bit.
I don't like CGIing age down.
I know, but like, I guess they didn't do it a lot, but enough where people are just really tooling on him. And he's like, it's a character. It's not me. And the character's a little bit younger than I am. So it's like, but it's still got to be him. So I kind of get it. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. How about back in the day when they would take a guy, and then at the end of the movie, they'd say, now he's 40 years older. And they just put like baby powder in his hair. And he's like, like you knew it was the
That's
same
bad
dude.
too. Yeah. But I kind of like when they have to find young actors, or like literally using your Harrison Ford example. The idea of when they were doing the specific story about Han Solo in Star Wars, the whole debate was who was going to get to be the young. And like I think that's fun sometimes. One of my favorite shows, Psych, they would always do flashbacks to when he was a child, and it would be like they had 3 different kids, and they all looked like him at different stages of life, which was cool. But then seeing them mimic his mannerisms and those kind of things too is really what made it like, oh, these kids are good actors.
I get that, but at the same time, when a character becomes iconic, like a Han Solo, or even like I never really, I watched. I'm not gonna say I didn't watch it because in reruns I watched a lot of them, and I didn't mind it. The Big Bang Theory, I wasn't like a fan when it was on, but it would come on at like years later at like 6 o'clock on a channel when I would just be. I happened to be in front of the TV every day when that came on. So I know the show, and then when they tried to make the young Sheldon thing, it's like I started to like the character Sheldon play by this Jim guy. Like I don't want a young person not play.
Okay.
Like I don't want someone else playing the character I like because I loved this character, but I love the person that became the character, not just the writing of the character.
When they did Van Wilder freshman year, and instead of using Ryan, they used the dude from what was that, American Pie, Stifler. Yeah, it was like they don't even have the same mannerisms.
No.
It was bad.
It wasn't even close. And they do that with a lot of those weird franchises. But at the same time, I think Ryan Reynolds being in that movie, that was more, he was great in it because you started to see the sarcasm he can bring. But at the same time, it was like more about that American Pie type times where you were like, it's the last of an era. You almost felt like they're not gonna be allowed to do this anymore soon. So it was more like the movie, and once they did it once, don't do it again. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing.
However, the only one I'll say is The Rise of Taj, where they have Kumar. There's no relation at all. That's acceptable because it's like, okay, you're not damning your original story. You're just continuing the theme.
Well, and if you think about what they did, it's exactly what I'm saying. They took another character that you liked and allowed him to now shine. They're like, what did people like about this? There was a guy in the background. Can we capitalize off this? So they didn't get another actor to play him and just, and then just go, okay, Aziz, you're him now. You know what I mean? Like they didn't try to do that. They gave you the character. Well, you know what I'm saying? Like that happened so many times where they're like, we'll move it over. We'll do this. Like when that TV show Roseanne, where the blonde girl just kept getting flipped around to just different people.
Will
it's
Smith's
not
mom.
that I fell in love with any of them, but you couldn't because you're like, oh, same thing. Any of those shows that would do that, where they would just change the mom on Fresh Prince. It's like I'm not gonna fall in love with you.
Aunt Viv went from light skin to Dikembe Mutombo.
She did not turn into a 7-foot shot blocker.
She was like literally a foot taller, though. All kidding aside, like it didn't even look like. Remember as a kid being like, "Yo, what happened?"
It definitely was. I do like when they address those things in the shows. That makes it funny with the fourth wall thing and all that stuff. But yeah, I like lately. If I start watching a show, it's all about if I like the lead character, or at least I have to like the cast. Where I'm like, I can invest in this now. And I just started watching. It was only one season, but I started watching Reacher, which is on Amazon Prime, based on the books.
Yeah, and the movies, right? Like it's a TV show that is connected to the.
I believe there's book. I don't think there was a Reacher movie. Oh, there was the Reacher movie from Tom Cruise back in the day.
Yeah. And is the TV show?
I didn't like that because I didn't read the books, but I knew of the books. They always said it was supposed to be this big hulking man, and it was Tom Cruise, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, Tom Cruise.
In this now, the guy they got was, and I know him from because I was watching the series Titans about the Teen Titans on HBO Max. The guy who played Hawk in the first couple seasons, this giant jack blonde guy who looks like everything John Cena is trying to be as an actor, but he can't. This guy Alan Rickman, and he was playing this, and he also was in the what was the football movie Blue Mountain State or whatever.
No, that's a TV show. BMS, Blue Mountain State. Yeah.
Sorry,
was he Thad?
He was in that too. He was the big tall blonde guy, Jack guy. He plays Reacher. In his way he plays this, I think some people feel like when they watched Monk and they're like, "Hey, I watched this because what's his name is killing it as this character." and now no one else should be this. The quirkiness caught on right away. You're like with mannerisms. He had catchphrases that caught on within the third episode, and you're like, okay, I get
Okay.
all of it. You know what I mean? This guy makes sense here.
Yeah, that. I wish he would have played it like the linebacker, the dumb, borderline gay linebacker.
Right, but if
That
he
would've been
when he
awesome.
plays this, he's super intelligent, but also an asshole meathead. And he does
He
it.
probably does it
wonderful.
great. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The issue I have with John Cena as an actor is I just can't see him in a serious role.
I
Luke-
don't like John Cena in anything. He's not in this. I'm saying this guy is.
No,
Cena.
I just wanted to make
Cena's
that
in that what was that? What was that? The DC thing Peacemaker.
I enjoyed it.
I did not.
I
Oh,
also
and I like those kind of things, but I did not like John Cena's not a good actor. He does good reading the Chevy commercials when he does like the voice.
he does, and he was good at wrestling sometimes.
I'm a big wrestling fan. I think he is underrated. We get into wrestling, nobody listens. No,
Okay.
no touch now, and
Speaking
nobody
of
wants
people
to do that.
listening, we actually have a comment, dude.
Right.
Lucas of the Bime wanted to point out sometimes there's a good change. Becky too was really hot. Like going back to Roseanne, I just thought it was funny. It was like, yeah, she's hot. I'd fuck her too.
How old was Becky?
I don't even know. But in Lucas's defense,
Well,
he
hello,
was-
Lucas. By the way, it's been a while.
Yeah.
We had Lucas on about a year ago or so.
Oh yeah, we should get some more guests sometime soon.
Sometimes, but sometimes I just like talking to you.
Oh,
about it.
this is awesome. I did want to ask you a question. Did you know? Because we debate therapy a decent amount on here. 80% of men who attempt or commit suicide are in therapy.
I didn't know that, but it makes sense.
Now, that leads me to one of two conclusions. The first one is I'm right, and that most therapists are just pissed off white women trying to ruin the patriarchy. Option two is, Pat, these trans are fucking up our stats.
I hope there's an option 3 I can participate in.
Well, what are you thinking? No, I'm just kidding. Option three is it's duh, right? If you're bad enough that you're gonna do that, you're obviously gonna try. The majority are gonna try to seek help first.
And therapy is not a fix; it's a way for you to talk out the things inside your head in that nature. Now, I'll address one. One, I don't know why you think all therapists are white women.
I don't mean that as phenotypically presenting. I mean that as a personality type.
Oh, even though they're not
Right.
in the body of a white woman.
Like you could have.
They identify as a white woman.
That's how they act. Yeah. If I had to classify their actions, it would be white woman actions.
That being said, all 3 of my therapists I've ever had are white women, but still,
Just throwing it out there.
but 2 identify as whatever the heck they want to. But I do understand what you were saying. I do think that also who's filling out that survey.
Yeah, no, it was a TikTok video.
Because no, I'm saying, but if there was a real survey, 80% of them, did they fill it out right before they did it? How do we know?
That's true. I mean, I feel like you could look up that data, right? Oh no
In the
way,
letter, it's
therapists
like,
aren't real
Mom,
doctors.
I wish I could have told you how I felt. Dad, if you were ever there, it'd be great. Oh, by the way, I'm in therapy 2 times a week. It's a white woman. Tell Bobby.
And again, I actually can answer that because you know how we know what happens to these men? It's because who goes looking for them but their white woman therapists. White women don't let things go. We got to find Bradley.
You know what? That is always why I didn't really buy the whole Taken movie series.
Yeah. Like, fuck that
Oh,
bitch.
white guy from Europe is going to look for his daughter. You know how many European fathers don't care where their kids are?
Yeah.
Like, come on. It would definitely be the mom running around, not even just to save her, but to go, you weren't supposed to go out.
And I'll give you a Taken one. Fair enough. Taken two. He picks up the phone and goes, fool me once, shame on me. Right? Like, he's not saving her twice. You get one of those.
Oh, speaking of Taken in a way, I got to be like a
Sexually
badass today. I got to be a badass today,
Ooh.
kind of, but also did something you love, Bobby. Radio shtick.
I do love radio shtick.
So for those of you who don't know, I'm twice a week I appear on a morning show in Connecticut called Chaz and AJ, and I get to be like kind of the third mic 2 days a week. And whenever I get to appear on Mondays, it's fun because Mondays is a segment called Stunt or Stupid, where AJ has to do a stunt, and it's not it's usually a stunt that is stupid. And what I love about radio shtick is you can't just do a stunt; you have to do something that's also audio entertaining at the same time. So a lot of times it'll be like, hey, we're gonna put this isn't a real thing, but like we're gonna have you we're gonna ask you Jeopardy questions on the phone, but you have to have bees in your mouth while you do it. Or you know what I mean? It's always something like, why is there trivia? Just put bees in his mouth. But they're like, no. It makes it more fun that way. So whenever I'm on the show, the night before I get set an itinerary of the breakdown of the show. 6 o'clock is this, 6:30 is this. Every 20-minute segment, I go on from 7 to 10. So the first hour I see it, but then I know 7 o'clock Pat comes in. Like today, we were speaking to a sports guy named Jason Page. The governor's speaking with people about having a hockey team come out to Connecticut. We obviously know it's not going to happen, but once in a while, to get votes and hearts up, they try to do it. There's no way Boston or New York markets would allow that to happen ever again. No one. Anyway, they start talking about that kind of stuff. I see all that. Oh, I can chime in on sports. We talked about basketball a little bit. I'm the only one who's been watching any of the playoffs. We barely talk about it. And then they go, all right, 7:20, we do our dumbass news. And then after that, we're doing our Stun or Stupid, where AJ will be reading scripts from movies and doing like a almost like a dry read tryout, like when you would for a movie when you're doing the read. But they're doing a trash can read because he would be inside a trash can with another trash can over his head, and then he would be shot at with a paintball gun while he's reading. So we do the dumbass news thing and going through that. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be wild. I wonder if I can watch out the window and see everything that's going on. And they go to break, and Chaz walks over to this bag, and he's got this giant old school paintball gun. It's got like an air tank on it, and it's badass looking. And he goes, you know how to work this? And I go, what? And he goes, I go, no, I've never shot anything ever. I don't. That's not what I do. He goes, oh, it's simple. You pump like this,
aim and point. Yeah.
He goes, yeah, but I don't know aim and point. I don't know any. When he pointed like at safety, I'm like, okay. So he goes, and he looks at me, and goes, don't point it at anyone. I go, I know those rules. I've watched TV, but you couldn't say that. But now we have to walk downstairs. We're on the third floor. We have to go down the stairs, and there's a producer, Ruth, who's this diminutive like woman, probably like 5'3", 5'2", tiny little blonde woman. She's carrying one giant aluminum garbage can you would get from like a Home Depot. The intern, who's this tiny little like 20-something-year-old girl, she's carrying the other one. AJ's got all his papers and everything, and I'm walking through with like an assault rifle through the office, going down outside. And if you go on Chaz and AJ's Instagram, I think I shared on my Facebook too. Video is all there and everything. We go, but as we go outside, they start setting it up. We see a car pull up in the lot just off to the side. The guy's just staring. We find out later this guy works down the street, listens to the station, put two and two together what was going to happen. So he was going to watch this thing happen. So now I'm worried because I'm like, I don't want to screw up this bit. I have the easiest part, but I've never shot anything. Literally, if I'm being 100% honest, I was just talking to my mom about this today because she listens. She goes, that's crazy because you don't do that. I go, when I was like teenage years, my mom was dating this guy, David. He was a really nice guy, but he was into guns and stuff. So he tried to like relate with me and my brother by bringing us to a range one time to try to shoot. Now we went there. It was all safe and on the up and up and the head, everything proper. You know what I mean? He was trying to teach us the thing. It's an nothing bad about it. But I literally took the gun. I did one and I went, oh, no, thank you. And then I just sat down and watched my brother shoot at targets because it just wasn't something I was into. It's just not. And I'm not. Anyone watching, you're like, that's for you. Like I said before, that's awesome. I took today as I'm learning something. Yeah. I guess I will, like I said before. But I don't want to ruin this bit because now here's AJ, 60 years old, having to step up over into an aluminum can, get inside it, take papers with them, put the other can over his head, and now with his phone, so he can talk into it because we're going live through the phone there. And then I have the producer, Ruth, with a phone next to my face so they can hear my reactions and going, I'm supposed to shoot when he messes up. Now I can barely hear what's happening anyway.
Yeah.
So I would say at the most 30 yards away, or probably like 20 yards away. So pretty
Seems
close.
reasonable. Yeah. I looked at the
You know
video
what I mean?
about
So
20
I'm like,
yards. Yeah.
it's 2 cans, whatever. This thing's got a
2 cans?
Yeah, 1 cup. So as I hear him mess up once, I take 1 shot and bang, you hear the big ting and you hear him go, ah! Like I guess it rattled in there pretty good.
It scares you.
So every time that I'm doing it, it's when he messes up. But then during the break, Chaz is like on the thing going, why are you only shooting a couple times? And they go, aren't I supposed to be doing it when he messes up? He's like, just fire at him. Yeah. It's better for the air. And I'm like, oh, okay. So the second he starts reading again, by the way, after he'd shot a couple times, he had to read the traffic and weather in the can. And that was crazy. It was he's like shaking still. So now, if you happen to see the video, I now feel my rhythm. By the way, I didn't miss one. I actually did miss once out of like, I probably took 100 shots. And so I felt pretty good. I'm sure anyone that uses a paintball gun's like, you moron, no one misses. I'm like, okay, well, I never did this before. So I felt pretty good. But the second he said one word, and I just laid, and the can is just denting, and you're, And as I'm doing that, there's that second lower can that he's in, right? The first one above his head, make sure he doesn't get hurt. But the second can is most of his body's in. So I'm like, well, I'm just messing up this 1 can. I should probably aim at the lower one. And I take 1 shot at the lower can, and you hear, ah! And then he goes, stop shooting, and he lifts up. And I guess where I hit in the can, his knee was right against the can, and the paintball just like punched it and hit his knee.
Oh,
and
God.
Like, oh, and he had to like stop. And so they're like, are you done? He goes, no, we got to finish the segment. So he puts the can back on.
That's old school radio.
I just rattle another 50 shots in it. People are calling up going, this is wild. So at the end, we see the guy over there and he's like waving, and I just wave the gun at him outside. And he goes, good stuff. I'm like, all right. So that was my fun shtick morning.
Oh, before we got on, because I don't know if the audience knows this, but instead of therapy, what I like to do is dump all my problems on you in 3 minutes before we hit the ground rolling.
I appreciate it.
But you pointed out, and this is very true, sometimes I know I shouldn't do something, but I can't help myself. And that would have been the first issue with if I was a part of this bit, is I would have walked through the lobby and yelled, oh my God, he's got a gun. Because I just wouldn't have been able to help. I would have found it too funny not to. Understandable.
And that's why in morning shows, there's usually no one in the lobby.
That's a good point. I didn't think
when
about that.
When you go to a radio station like that, all salespeople don't come into like after 9 o'clock. So something that early, it's just people in the third. We're all on the third floor. It's 5 morning shows going on, and no one's going downstairs. So when we went down there is no one else there. So you can't mess anything up. But it was fun to do. It's cool they let me be part of it and do it. You know what I mean? That's a fun. All the other guys who get to be guests were probably like, oh, I wish I got to shoot AJ with a gun.
Yeah.
So it was a good time. I enjoyed it.
It's them definitely showing you trust.
No, that's an awesome outlook, and I'm not saying I'm being positive. They would have done it with anyone that was there, but they also know I'm not going to say no.
That's true too.
And to be honest, my first thought was I wish they told me. So I could say, I don't know what to do, show me how to do it. But then I was like, I might have talked myself out of doing it. Because the young girl that was the intern, she's like, oh, yeah, I used to go shoot paintball all the time. Well, my thoughts was just have her do it. But it's funnier that I'm laughing and I'm making fun of him because the comedian who comes on is shooting AJ. And it's kind of this thing where they don't know the intern yet. She's not really there to be on air. She's just there to learn from Ruth and help out. So it didn't make any sense to have her do it.
That makes perfect sense, actually. Your logic, not her doing it, but
right. But
I do. Like, we have our second
better
comment.
Off not knowing and just going in blindly and say, "Hey, just have fun." They're not gonna fire me from the show if I miss.
No, and that's the beauty that you missed. That was the third point I was gonna make. But real quick, we do have a comment from someone named Chrissy Mayer. I don't know if it's the real one or not, but when I said sometimes I do things that I know I shouldn't, she said, "Sounds like Bobby." Nailed it. So I don't know if it's
not the real one.
Good job, yeah.
She's also right.
Yeah. Whoever it is, you nailed it. I apologize, but
if it is the real one for some reason, hi Chrissy, how are you?
If you want to pop in, just say so.
If it's not the real one, You're doing a good job of also knowing what Chrissy knows.
But the second point I was gonna make is, Pat, the reason why I think you don't like guns is you did it the right way, by the book. What you're supposed to do is have a buddy who's like, "Hey, you want to get drunk and shoot something?" And you go, "Yeah," and you get a black eye from recoil, and you're like, "Ah, we got to do this to somebody else."
Yeah, and it's like, in a weird way, it was kind of like cool that Chaz for 2 seconds goes, "Hey, here's my gun thing. This is what you do." I weirdly know how to load and use a paintball gun right now. Now, they were saying this is an old school one. It had like an air tank on it. It was like I guess in Chaz went to get these all like fixed up. He's like, the guy was like, "This is like an antique," but it fired off like crazy. But it looked like if you watched a movie where they were a bad B budget movie where they're trying to be terrorists, they could hold this gun and pull it off. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
It was kind of wild, but it was a good time.
And the third point I was gonna make is the beauty of it is even if you missed every shot, that would have almost been a better radio bit. Like it would have been a beautiful radio bit in and of itself. The comedian came on and couldn't hit the trash can from 20 yards away.
Kind of, but like because this bit is all about the weird thing about this bit that happens is everybody wants to hear AJ have something crazy happen to him, but all the women that listen are all like, "AJ, you're such a trooper. Why do you let them do this to you?" But it's always his idea. It's always what he wants to do. It's not like we're saying, "Hey, let's shoot him with stuff."
That's why.
But if he says the idea, they go get the stuff.
That's why he's such a great radio guy, right?
Yeah.
Like he's like, I'm not gonna put somebody else through this. I'll put myself through it.
Well, and I'm not speaking for him. I've gotten to know enough to know he'd be jealous if anyone else is doing.
That's fair too.
And that's his thing. It's not Chaz's thing. It's not the comedian's thing. That's my thing. That's what I bring to this show is the wildness, the crazy. Like we joke about it now on there, but years ago they had to shut it down because of legalities. But he on 4th of July, he used to shoot bottle rockets out of his butt.
That's awesome.
He would go outside and they're like, "We can't legally do this anymore." And people were upset. Bottle rockets couldn't happen.
God. They might be the
every
last.
Year,
they might be the last of the
raise,
Mohicans.
Okay. Yeah. Every year to raise money for the beginning of their toy drive, he goes in a box in a car dealership. It's like they built like this glass booth, like this shed thing for 24 hours straight. They pick a song that's going to annoy him to play on repeat for 24 hours. And he has to be in there live on the air the entire time. And people donate money while he's in there. And he's been doing it for like 6-7 years now.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's really awesome. But also, like, okay, so lately people, when I run into anybody, they're like, in Connecticut, they're like, "Oh man, I've heard you on the radio." Like that's become like a thing to people, like whatever. That and why would you shave? Do you know what you look like? Like anyway,
it's almost back though, buddy.
What?
It's almost back. It's looking good.
Starting to. I've been using the line, "I look like a young old turtle." And it's been working fine. But also so people will say to me, "So what have you been up to?" And I'm like, comedy and radio really. And then that's it. They're like, "What else?" I go, "No, I don't have any social life right now. The only thing," it's like, and I said this to somebody, they just looked at me and go, "I only leave my house to say weird shit for money. And then I come home."
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's literally what I do. I leave my home. I don't even drive. So I find an Uber or a ride to be brought to a place to say, "Ha, you're an idiot," and then go home and take a nap and have some food.
Dude, that is literally the dream. Like, "Hey, Bobby," I had a buddy text me, "Hey, man, been a while. Let's hang out soon, right?" I was like, "Sure. I'm at this place, and this place. These dates. Tickets are $25, and we can hang out there. You want to hang out with me? Pay me."
Someone tried to hang out with me, and my therapist found this very funny. And I was like, because I still put up the whole, I don't really want to hang out with people. It's nice to know people want to hang out with me, but I don't really hang out with people thing. And someone was like, I made a joke post about something, and a female said, "Well, okay, I'll take a shot," and then went into my DMs and said, "I'm sliding in the DMs. And I know you always make the jokes, but you don't drive. I'll take you out. I'll do whatever." And I go, "I'm all the red flags, baby. I got no car. I got no money. I'm broke. And I don't really like talking to people." And she's like, She's like, "Oh, why don't you have a car?" I go, "Long story. No need to share it here." My therapist is like, "That is the best." Like this woman literally said, "I get it. I'll get to know you for you. It doesn't matter." All these people who say on dating apps and stuff, it's like, "Oh, I don't care about what people are in their lives now, as long as they're good people." Then you're like, "I don't drive to like murderer." It's like, okay. So I'm using it for everything I can. It's like it was cool to know this lady wanted to hang out, but I'm like, I am not there.
I respect that. I actually, my lady friend and I are on good thing. It's going kind of strong, so I'm
But
looking
that's that
forward
one
to it.
who's out in Guam or
Yep,
whatever.
Chicago,
Yeah, how can it not go strong?
Chirac, Afghanistan. I
But
don't know
how
if you
can that
saw that.
not go strong? Like
Yeah,
that's the easiest way to keep it strong because you can just lie.
that's. I mean, wouldn't do that. I'm not a liar.
I meant her.
I mean, probably.
And I don't even mean the cheating way. You could just be like, "Hey,
I'm a
babe."
woman.
You could just it
Yeah,
could be a
I'm a
fun
woman. I
thing
love
just
you.
to go like, "Oh, it's an hour of talking," but like you never there's and that's awesome. That listen, I'm not shitting on anyone finds their way of happiness in life. Go for it, whatever. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying. I think the longer you do a long distance thing where you don't hang out with them, and then let's say one day you're like, decide, let's try to make this a physical thing together. It gets weird when you can't escape or turn off the phone because your whole relationship is based on we make the time, and then now we don't have to deal with you. But now you're like, oh, we're just both having grilled cheese now.
Yeah, no, I think there's some. That is like you're right. There is a lot of pressure the first hang, but I think if you can get through it, it just makes you super
Oh, I don't
strong.
mean first. I guess I'm thinking like me, where the usually I'll text somebody for like 2 months, and then the next day they just live with me for 2 years. So it's like, oh yeah, you could just hang out once.
Ah, the old oats technique.
My dad passed it on to me.
You just forgot the second step. You leave.
Oh, I don't like to leave.
No,
It's
that's my
usually my
point. That's,
place.
you're ripping your dad's technique, but you're forgetting the most pivotal part.
Yeah, but he leaves, then he finds it, but he stays where he goes for a long period of time.
You are a Rolling Stone.
Like, yeah, is that what that means?
No,
Oh, but Papa was a Rolling Stone.
Mama lived by the sea.
I don't think that's the song, is it?
I don't
All
either.
right, you want to do a POS thing?
Well, I was just gonna tell you this was my birthday weekend, so
Oh yeah,
I had
happy
a lot
birthday.
of fun. Thank you, thank you. I got to do a big
How old are we as a man?
31.
Oh no,
Yeah,
that's the year no one cares about.
right. And I really want to have a midlife crisis, but I'm too broke.
Wait, you think you're only gonna make it to 62?
Oh, that's thinking idealistically.
Then you're not midlife. You made it.
Yeah, but I still
No,
want to
celebrate that. If you think you're gonna die at 50, celebrate. You're killing it. You're way past.
I don't know, man. We'll see what happens.
You won't. You'll be dead.
That's what I'm saying. We'll see. Maybe, maybe not.
I'll see.
I've been exercising, even though it just makes me angry. Like I don't
Your
think,
rights or like you've been exercising like healthy.
trying to be healthy, but like it just makes me angrier. Like it's supposed to be therapeutic, but I get done with exercising and I'm more pissed off than when I started.
Are you doing steroids?
No,
Are you
'cause
taking
none
any
of
kind
our
of?
fans will sell us steroids. Just send them to me. I've begged you 1,000 times. I'm not talking D-ball, Joey Dago, I'm talking the good shit. Sorry, go
Are you
ahead, Pat.
taking anything though?
No, I think honestly what it is hangry. Let's just say somebody
Yeah,
irritated
but
me.
being
and there was a
hungry shouldn't
chance-
make you want to kill people.
Yeah, but I don't know about you. I tend to do things at extremes, and I think you're sometimes similar, right?
I don't really go extreme.
Oh, okay. Like I'm like if I'm gonna lose weight, it'll be a week.
Like I
without
spell
eating solid
extreme with
food.
an E.
Oh, I don't.
That's how not extreme. I am.
Vowels. I spell it XTRME. Yeah, because it's me. I'm that extreme.
I like how you're like no vowels and you end it in a vowel. That's how rebellious I am.
Yeah, I'm that extreme. But
So
I think that's what it is. But anyway, how do we get on this subject?
you said it was your birthday.
Oh, and then I got angry.
Then you got angry at your birthday.
Yeah, no, my birthday was great, dude. I hung out with my
You had
parents.
shows and stuff.
So I had a big show Saturday, and that's kind of like when I celebrated with my parents. And it's a theater show. It turned out to be 427 people. in the audience, which is a big number for me. And I'm sitting backstage about 10 minutes before the show is going to start, and I get a text from my dad. And usually he sends like, "Hey, have fun tonight. Remember this is what you want," or something like that. And I look down, and it's a picture of my mom and dad, and it's Earl's backdrop. And they're like, "Surprise, we came to see the show." And it was really cool that they came out and did that. And then I said, "Thanks. Oh, that's so cool."
You're like,
I really
"Yeah,
appreciate
$40, please."
it. No, they paid.
Nice.
But then they said, "Look down," and they had made Matt Miller made.
They had fenced you.
That would have been great. Goddamn magicians.
Silly goose parents, no.
They were wearing the shirts that Matt Miller made for me a while back at Compound. So they had bought them and saved them to surprise me, like when they.
The dead rapper?
What do you mean?
Mac Miller?
No, Matt. M-A-T-T,
Oh.
the designer for
I was
Compound.
like, you just casually told me that the rapper Mac Miller made you clothes.
His name's Mac Miller. Who the fuck are you?
I banged Ariana Grande and made you a shirt. That's cool.
Pete Davidson killed him. You know that, right?
No, don't do that.
Dude, this is 100% true. I'm not even.
No, it is not 100% true.
Yeah.
It is alleged as hell.
Okay. Well,
Pete Davidson would not be making Taco Bell commercials if he murdered people.
All right, you're right. The word murder was a bit strong, but Pete sent. You know the picture that got out of Kim?
Yes, Pete. To a person who had a lot of mental issues, Pete probably did not help out that person's stability.
He sent the same pic though of him in bed with Ariana and was like, "Look what I'm doing," and it's just not right.
Just I don't know. You gotta get over that stuff, and I guess in a way he did. Anyway, happy birthday.
No, that was cool. And then I did the Dave Max Sports program yesterday, which was
I
awesome.
can't wait till Pete Davidson sends a picture of of him and your girlfriend. It's like, you should visit more, bro.
Joke would be on him.
Why? He's got butthole eyes.
He's in Chirac.
She could go to Chicago.
Pete?
He travels. He can go anywhere he wants.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. He's rich.
He's very rich.
Which brings me to my next point. Would you people please get on our Patreon so we can hit the video game playing era of our show? I really want to do where I just sit here and play video games the whole time, and Pat begs me not to. The issue with that is twofold. We don't have enough fans to substantiate that, and B, I'm not the funnier one on the podcast, so it wouldn't work.
Well, and C, shit, dude, our your laptop, your computer crashes when you try to do lasers. If you tried to live stream Twitch, the show would last 2 seconds.
Oh no, I'm not going to live stream Twitch. I'm just going to play video games and talk to you at the same time.
Oh no, I would think we great is Bobby, if on one screen it's me talking and on the other screen is you playing like Space Invaders.
Oh, nothing, not even major.
No, just like a real like Pitfall, like an old Atari game.
That's very. Oh, I like that. Let's see if
you just get high as hell, and then I look over and I tie in your high score to things. Like whatever your score is, I'm like, oh, that's how many people died at Normandy.
Allegedly, yeah.
Yeah, we do it in the counts here. But no, happy birthday. You're a fullback number now. That's good.
Oh, yeah.
31's a good one.
Does that mean I get to the front of the line?
31. That was 17 years ago for me. Yeah. Yeah, that's fun. Is that you playing, though, or is that just like a screen thing? Are you playing?
Once I get it set up, I will be.
Oh. I don't think anyone's going to like this, but... yeah, before we get to this POS story, I had a show Saturday. Yep. And not to keep bringing up the Chaz and AJ thing again, but like in this area now, if I'm doing a show, even if it's not a big crowd, half that crowd knows me from the radio now. And it's good. And it's also weird because they had a I'm not even comparing it. But when I remember listening to Howard Stern back in the day, and like guys like Joe Matarese and stuff would open for Artie Lang, they would talk about how when you open for Artie, people just yell Baba Booey during your set because it's like they're there for the Stern thing, so they don't even care that it's comedy, and they just yell weird shit from something you might have been on once.
I've had
And
some experiences like that.
I'm sure, like with compound things, someone yelling out in hot water references from years ago, or things of that nature, something like that. But at least yours might be the donkey or something yelling something about you because it's a character you did or something. So at least has something to go with you, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I in this, not that it did anything to do with me, but like there was three of the people. Now the people that listen to WPLR, classic rock station, are usually blue collar people, and sometimes blue collar people once in a while, not all the time, are this close to getting real special parking in their own Olympics. You know what I mean? Sometimes they there is a it's a couple of chromosomes away from like they know enough to work a wrench, so they're not allowed to be that, but they're not allowed to play with all the power tools, you know. But so those people like to come to the show. Now the show had just started. I went out to the bar area while the show was going on. I had a young kid hosting. I wasn't gonna host. I was gonna do a spot. And by spot I mean close it and be a whore, but whatever. So I go out. I go out to the bar area to go get a coffee, and the waitress says, "Hey, there's three people here that want to come to the show." And we were about 20 minutes into a show. So like, you know, for most people, the 90-minute show, like 70 minutes. We still have time left, plenty of time. But I was like, yeah, if you guys want to come, I'll charge you half price because you've already missed like two comics, whatever. So whatever. And then as like I said, the guy just goes, Pat Oates from Chess and AJ, Pat Oates. And I'm like, oh no. And I already just said yes to this. And I'm like, you got to be chill. You know what I mean? The lady's like, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. I go, yeah, I know, but you just can't talk. I'll walk you to the back area. Just come in and enjoy. Pat Oates, are you funny? And I go, well, you'll find out when you go in, man. I guess I'm charging half price, so I don't have to be that funny. And he's like,
I don't have to be half funny.
Right. And so I was like, all right, man. So I bring them in. They're quiet for a second. I sit in the back. The crowd's already pretty good. And the guy kind of like yells one thing during this one guy, Kevin Dolan set. And Kevin's a big guy, big, giant gay man, like a 6'3", 300-pound giant gay man who's like a great storyteller. He just goes, hey, like that. And they kind of got quiet. But that was about it. He's doing his thing, whatever. And then one more comic went on. And then I was going to go last. And friend of the show and friend to everyone and man who wished you a happy birthday, Dan Brown. I said, if you want to come by and do some time, he said, if you want to come on by and do some time. He's like, okay. And he goes, how much time can I do, sir? And I'm like, you whatever your heart desires, bud. You work on you, whatever. So he goes up and man, for the first 7 or 8 minutes, he is murdering. Like he's got this new beginning now that I don't want to ruin, but it's just like he just comes up and yells something so wild. I can't even say because it doesn't matter. But he just everyone else, Bobby, you'd come up and go, hey everybody, or do a joke, whatever. He just goes, people are pooping in the streets of San Francisco. That's how he starts his sets now. He's throwing his hand in the air and he's just screaming about that. And so obviously people go, whoa, they start laughing. They know it's great. It really gets the character of Dan in there, whatever.
It nails it right away. That's amazing.
About 7 minutes in, as he says a joke, that's a little, his jokes are a little like, they make you think. You know what I mean? Like he has one, and I don't want to do all this bitch, but it makes sense for this thing. So whatever. I'm not ruining. He said sometimes, but he says, do you think in bird heaven the angels have human arms sticking out of their back? So I laugh at it, but
it's a great joke. Like, yeah, interesting.
Yeah, but it's also more of a thinker than a ha-ha thing.
Yeah.
So I let the three drunks in, whatever, and then the woman on the side just goes, that doesn't even make sense at all. It makes no sense whatsoever. And the other guy goes, where's AJ? And the lady goes, it makes no sense. Now, AJ from Jazz and AJ, the drunk guy is now wondering why AJ's not there, even though it's not a Jazz and AJ show. And the other lady said that makes no sense at all. So Dan's in the middle of his next joke. And Dan just turns and totally out of Dan's character just goes, it makes complete and perfect sense. Dude, everyone gets real scared of Dan because they don't know. Because in their minds, here's a man saying peculiar and odd things because we know it's not real. And then we saw the real him and we're like, oh no, this is a real man. Yeah. And they, like, know what I mean? When you see a kid, like if you like walk down the street and the guy from Saw with the mask was just getting coffee, you're like, oh no, you're not supposed to be here. You're supposed to just be in that scary world, and that's it. So Dan had lost them for the rest of like the next 8 minutes he was doing, and you can see he even said that he goes, oh, I guess I've lost you here. Like, I didn't keep going, do whatever, trying to get them back. The guy wouldn't stop talking. I said to the host, don't make a big deal about it. Maybe you want to just say, hey, for those who came in late, you're not supposed to talk during the show. I don't really feel like yelling at people right away. And he's like, okay, fine. So he says that, whatever. And the guy's like, all right, whatever. So the second I walk up, it's like, Pounds! I'm like, that is me. The guy said it. You said it. We've said it. And I start doing jokes, whatever. And he's like, where's AJ? Where's AJ? AJ! Where's AJ? And I go say to the audience, for those of you who don't speak Mongolian, the guy here, he listens to a radio show I'm on, Jazz and AJ from Clapping, and he's yelling for a guy that he's not here. He's at I actually know where he is. There's a food truck thing, and he's hosting that thing right now. So
you could have seen him. You could have ruined his night.
Go there. Like, go to the food truck. Hopefully you get hit. I have a food truck. Go ahead, sir. And and I'm like, all right, whatever. So I keep going through it. And he yells it one more time, and I go, hey, man, just don't do it. It's not helping. I get it. You're fired up and a little drunk. It's my bad. Letting you in. But everyone else trying to enjoy themselves. Everyone else laughs at whatever. I move on. And then he goes to do it. I go, don't say his name again. Don't mention either name from the show at all. So he's quiet. And then a minute later, he just goes, K&J Tree Services. Now, K&J Tree Services are a sponsor, an advertiser. And I go, I want to get mad at you, but I'm sure K&J Tree Services really appreciates your advertising. And everyone there laughing, I go, what's going on in here? Your brain just, how do I heckle now? And what else do I know from the show? Oh, here's a company that'll cut your branches down for 20% off if you're a tribe member of Chaz and AJ. All right. He yells it out loud.
I thought he was going to be like, where's Matthew?
And then 3 minutes later, the wife or woman next to whatever phone rings, and it's loud, and it's the old school boop doop 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 doop, this whole thing. And I'm like, so I'm on stage in the middle of my joke, like doing a thing. People are laughing, and then she goes to grab the call. Now, a lot of comics do the thing where we talk to bitch. Like, what I like to do is, especially if they're like crazy and drunk, I get quiet and I just stare. And people are like, what are you doing? I go, she's on the phone. I'm sure for some reason the Lord gave her children and they're probably in trouble.
And he's calling them home.
Yeah, they need something. And I got to let her make the call. And she goes, I'm on the phone. And I go, and I'm on the stage. How about you take the call outside? I'm not making fun of you. Why don't you just go outside with the call? She goes, and she gets the phone. And she goes, what? And I go, nothing. I actually didn't say anything. I was quiet. And I let you take your call because I'm a parent. And I figure she goes, I'm a parent too. And I go, yeah, those kids can't be fired up about that one. But like, can you not be here anymore? Can you take K&J Tree Services with you and the other thing? And the guy goes, AJ, I go, I told you. He's like, all right. And she goes, we got to go. I go, you got to go. You do have to go. That was that DCF. Now, I don't know what you guys call it in your land.
CPS.
But DCF. Yeah. Okay. But DCF is where the people come get your kids. We got a good applause off that one, which was fun.
That's amazing.
Yeah. But I've never been heckled by an advertiser before.
That was pretty great. I didn't see that one. Literally, I thought I was going to just do the other radio show you want. Where's Matthew? Bring Matthew.
They wouldn't. I've been on that twice, once with you, and they wouldn't have yelled the random man.
It just would have been amazing if that's.
If anything,
like, oh, shit, you're
they would have yelled. He would have yelled like the afternoon guy, like Lappy or something. It would been dumb. I was on the radio station on Sunday doing my regular shift, and we're doing text requests. So of course, half the people call, and it's like you got a text. One guy goes, "Dude, nah, man. I just wanted to say, I love you on Chaz and AJ, man. You're real funny." I go, "Thanks." He goes, "But you should just do that. You stink at this." I go, "Thanks." And he goes, "I'm just busting balls." I'm like, even if you weren't, dude, that's fucking awesome.
That's funny. Yeah, that's hilarious.
Glad that you made that call.
Oh
All right, you
man.
ready for a POS thing to get out of here?
Sure, yeah, why not?
All right. Are you familiar with Adrienne Appalucci?
As a comedian, I am.
I'm saying, you know who she
Yes.
is.
Yeah, yeah.
Comedian, most known probably for being one of the more prominent openers for Louis C.K. If you watched her Louis C.K.'s MSG thing, she was the female comic opening for him on that. She's done a bunch of other things too, but like she's really well known for that. Very, very, very dark sense of humor. If you're comparing her to people like Jeselnik, things of that age, she tells a little more stories and jokes, but dark, dark stuff. I guess she was performing in Connecticut this weekend. I saw this on her Instagram. I kind of want it's a POS store, but I also kind of want your take on it as a comic and then as a person.
Just real
So
quick, back when I was slinging Instagrams, the last thing you wanted was your photo snapped.
I don't get that at all.
It
Was
was
that a
Jay-Z,
rhyme
it
from
was
somebody?
just the Jay-Z lyric. It's
All right.
cocaine. Cocaine. When he was dealing cocaine, you didn't want pictures of you dealing cocaine taken. So back when he was slinging Instagrams,
Yeah. Oh,
'cause you-
Instagram. Okay, 'cause I was
you
gonna
could
say when he was dealing cocaine, Instagram wasn't a thing.
No, exactly. So Instagram, back when I was slinging Instagrams, last thing you wanted was your photo snapped.
He's like the pictures they took for him. That's when a guy who rode a horse had bumps on his ass. Polaroids.
Polaroids.
See, look at me, what I'm doing. But all right. So this is on her Instagram that she's performing in a place called Rowayton, Connecticut, which is closer to your Greenwich side, closer to New York. Some money in that area, stuff like that.
The people Gatsby hated.
Because here how her Instagram went. I got taken off stage last night over a joke. I was performing for donors at a charity event in Connecticut to raise money for poor kids. I'm doing great and then lose half the crowd on a pedophile joke. The comic before me did a joke on the same topic and the crowd loved it, so I assumed it was cool. Like I know at the beginning, if you say like, "Oh, it was a show for kids, you shouldn't do it." It's not like kids were there. She did watch someone do it. It is a wheelhouse she tells jokes in. So hey, if that guy did it and the audience was on board, why not go on board? I get that mentality all the time. Like when you're on a show where they're like, "You got to be clean," and the guy in front of you says "fuck" 4 times, and everyone's laughing.
That's the biggest.
So you're like, okay, I can say "fuck" 4 times.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean?
I'm gonna lean into it.
Because a lot of times the rules, if you will, come from someone who's not a comic and is also just worried about offending anyone or big time people getting upset. Like when you do like a corporate show, a lot of times they're just like, well, our boss would hate it because we can't do that at work. And it's still kind of in their mind at work. I get all that. Or like a fundraiser for soccer. It's like all coaches, coach moms and dads and stuff. So you're like, Keely can't talk dirty until someone does. Like, oh wait, we're just all people having fun. As long as it's funny, we can laugh at it. So I get that they overthink it. They have to. That's kind of their job.
And
anyway,
the minute you put a line out there, it's funny to get close to it.
Right, but also I've always told myself, been doing it long enough where it's like, I understand your line. I promise you, I'll have fun. Yeah, I don't say that to them, but I when they say you have to be squeaky clean, I go, well, then if I have to be, and you're not going to pay me if I'm not, then I don't want the gig. Because that's not what I do, and I'm not doing it. It's not worth it to me to just sit here and hate what I'm doing. But if you'll trust me, I promise you they'll laugh. But I know more about what's going to make people laugh than you do, lady who sells your Girl Scout cookies in front of Stop and Shop. You know what I mean? Like, but anyway, half the crowd were happy I was taken off, and the other half were upset I was asked to leave during the stage mid-set. So she didn't get to finish her act. I literally came up after the joke and took her off stage. A woman in the crowd came to find me and told me that there was recently a pedophile that was embedded in their community. To be exact, a CNN producer named John Griffin. My joke about rich people on yachts banging kids had hit a little too close to home for Rowayton, Connecticut. I was told his wife was in the crowd and unhappy about the joke. That's why I was taken off. My art imitated her life. Here is a picture of her husband with their yacht. And then she posts a picture that they obviously put on CNN's webpage, and it's of him in the orange jumpsuit with the yacht behind him saying guilty to child sex charge and deal. And, it's like, and post that up there. What half of the crowd do you stand with? Sound off in the comments. Now, before I go to some of the comments, where do you stand?
It's whoever booked her's fault. It's 100% whoever booked her's fault. We just talked about they always give you the lines they don't know what the lines are. That's something you know to bring up. If there is a bombshell in the room and you've hired me, and this seems like a pretty nice, like Adrian's not me, right? She's not doing a small gig. It's not going to be cheap. You've done your research. That's on you to be like, hey, by the way, don't mention this because it's going to upset some people. I think
Right.
I think the way she handled it, fantastic, especially the Instagram post with him on the yacht, pretty funny. You know what I mean? Like that's very funny. I think as a comedian, she read the crowd like you're supposed to, right? That's something you taught me early on, was how to, how important it is to pay attention and see what's working and what to go, like not to vary from your set, but to get an idea of what's going on in the room. And then, she did that. She saw it worked for somebody. She went with it, right? We've all been in that position. I'm sure you've done corporate gigs. I did one for a biker's church. I've got some not edgy, but some God material. And, asked the guy that I was doing the show with, the headliner. I was like, hey, what do you think about my stuff? Because he knows my set. And he was like, read the room. You know what I mean? When you're on stage, if you feel like they're going with it, go for it. And if not, you know what I mean? So she did what she was supposed to. As far as pulling her off stage, that's a money thing, right? She's probably a big donor. So I don't like it. I think it's wrong. You should let her finish the set and then condemn it if you feel that strongly. But, I'm not a big fan of shutting the things down. But again, it's their event. You shouldn't, you know what I mean? If they feel like you're going to ruin their big event and it's going to be the talk and they're not going to raise money, I get it.
See, I agree with what you said. So I'm not arguing what you said, but that's not where I think the issue lies. So I don't blame the person that booked it, because that person also knew and their audience was going to be the wife of a pedophile. So that person's opinions on things are just out the you know what I mean? Like, both things were happening. In their mind, I probably thought, like, well, I mean, it's not going to relate more than it will. Like, most times people get upset because they're like, why would you talk about that? There's no pedophiles in shows. Like, well, no, but the wife could be. No one ever thinks, by the way, that would be a show I'd watch on Hulu. The pedophile's wife. Like, that would be like Turn to the Astronaut's wife and the Time Traveler's wife, just like sitting there going, and like every time he comes home and she knows he kind of did something, she's trying to like still keep the marriage alive. So she's wearing like Oshkosh Bagosh overalls, or she's playing with Legos, just trying to turn them on a little.
You know what's going to happen? The audience is going to fall in love with the guy who plays the pedophile. They're going to be like, he does that so well, and then they're going to spin it off into its own show, The Good Pedophile.
I watched that show, The Good Wife. Not the Good It wasn't bad. It's like, damn it, that Paul Giamatti can do anything. That's just
I want to hate him. God damn it, do I love him.
God damn it, he's good. He's doing for pedophiles what Dexter did for murder. Are you pedophile in this? Tuesdays on Hulu. But so I don't think it's the person that booked it. It's the audience that got upset, the half of the room that got upset. Because, all right, this is going to be a weird comparison, but stay with me. You'll get it as a comic. Okay. And I'm not trying to offend anyone with this, but I'm not just saying this is how it happens in comedy. In comedy, a lot of times, if someone does a joke on stage that can be deemed as racially offensive or insensitive, it can even just not even be racial. It could be like socially aware. It could just be something where you're touching on the topic of race in any way, shape, or form. A lot of times, most people in the audience will turn to, if anyone that happens to be that race, or even more racist, someone who they think is that race, Like if you make a joke about Koreans and all they see is a Chinese guy, they turn to go, "Is it okay to laugh?" It's like, yeah, I'm laughing because I'm not that either, you
Yep.
morons. But like that's
You
that
know,
thing. That's usually what happens.
you know the one joke I'm referring to. And if there's an African American in the audience and I make eye contact with them the whole time, it kills. If I don't make eye contact with them the whole time, it bombs. That's the way it's been going
And
in
that's because it's just
2023.
the audience, not because of the joke. And yeah, and then
Exactly.
because people start to clench their butts and do all that. And I understand we're not in the world of comedy. Not everyone thinks. I hate when comedians call people that aren't comics civilians. Like we're not soldiers. That's dumb. But at the same time, there is a different mindset of because we are looking at things. You know, like Seinfeld said, we are observers of the peculiar and odd. You know what I mean? Like we're looking at things in an odd way and reporting it almost like a weird version of the news. I see the world through these weird eyes and I make it this funny way. So a lot of people don't always look at things in that strange way, just the black and white way. And I didn't mean that, but like literally and figuratively. So therefore, if you do a joke and it happens to be about a black woman, they will turn to look to the black woman. And if she's laughing one way, if she's not laughing the other way, in that regard. So that means if you use that same mindset in this show, when the first comic just did a pedophile joke. Hey, what are you, pedophile? Look at you, you creep with your pedophile mustache. Okay, that no one here's got a pedophile mustache. That's just a regular joke. We're all laughing. And then when Adrian goes up and starts naming a guy, they kind of, without saying his name, they're like, when you have so much money, and obviously she was referring to Epstein or those type of people. That was in the news in the last year or two. Rich people sleeping with children. It's a very big thing that happened. It was very polarizing in the news. There was an island, the guy killed himself, supposedly. All these things happened, whatever. And then that means this audience, like the other example I'll give is years ago, I performed with this comic named Brian Bowden, and we were performing in Rutland, Vermont, right? On this dumb little theater there in Rutland, Vermont. And Brian used to do this about 7-8 years ago, and he used to do a joke about the guy in the movie I'm the Captain Now. That
Yeah.
captain, I forget his name, but so he would do a whole joke about that thing. The joke always killed. It was a long thing, whatever. It's just silence and quiet. And then Brian goes, "What do you guys know him or something?" And they're like, "Yeah, he's from Rutland, Vermont. There's a statue out front. He's our guy." Yeah, long as I'm related. And it was like, and he just goes, "Well, fuck your dumb town. I'm the captain now." They laughed at the silliness of defending this thing without just laughing at the joke, and then he won them over type deal. But sometimes the captain's in the audience, if not at least the captain's wife. You never think of that when you make a silly joke about something and then you're like right there, but literally she's making a joke and they're there. But this means that half the audience turned to this poor woman who's just trying to have some laughs because her husband ended up she's like, yes, he's hardworking, he's driven, he's never home. He seems a little off, but he's probably just because he's work first. But whatever, I'm his wife, all this. And now she finds out through CNN and everything else. The world knows, especially in her town, that her husband might be a pedophile. And now she just goes out to laugh and forget about her problems and goes to something to say, hey, I'm so not that. I'm here to support poor kids. I'm helping. I'm here because I'm not even here for comedy. I'm probably here because what's going on is to help out the thing my husband hurt. Yeah. I'm just trying to do whatever I can, to make sure I'm on the good guy team. And then half the audience actually said, I'll turn and go. And she's just sitting there like waiting for her to laugh at it. And then she was probably like, like the tears are coming out. So then everyone's like, oh, this is, oh. And also remember, it's a fundraiser charity in a rich area. So a lot of them are giving money to do this, but a lot of them have probably also been on this man's boat. So,
that's a good point too.
The yacht with him, the money is a lot of them are probably doing this fundraiser to go like, hey, maybe we should help the kids.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that time I golfed with that guy and I lost to him, that money went to him fucking the caddy.
Yeah.
So it's like, Jesus Christ. So in that regards, it's the audience that made her feel anything. Everyone should just, the second she said pedophile, they also going, ha, 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 next. Go back to the abusive stuff you do.
I'm with you right up until the end because honestly, my piece of shit now is the wife.
No, she's been through too much.
Let her finish her set, then you go up and you go, actually, I'd like to say something. I learned a lot in the past year, like what a real victim is. Then just stare at Adrian.
I'd be more mad because I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I was paid to close.
Look at me. I'm
Bobby,
the
what do
headliner
you want to tell
now.
people?
I want to tell people Wednesday. Crip Daddy's performing his album recording at New York Comedy Club. Get your tickets. It's going to be a fun show. I'm performing. Actually, a lot of people associated with this show will be on it. I'm performing. We've had Andrea from Queens. I think she's going to do a check spot at the end. I believe. Unfortunately, I did a little research. Not the real Chrissy Mayer, but the real Chrissy Mayer will be there. Not the real Chrissy Mayer in our chat, but the real Chrissy
You're
Mayer
saying in the chat. I
is
do not
doing a
believe
guest spot. Yeah, is doing a guest spot and
Nice.
hosting the show. We actually have dual hosts. Two Hispanic fellows who we've both had on here. Diablo Radio.
It's a lot of people on a show for a recording, but yeah, that's fun.
I think it's going to be keeping it moving and then giving him his time, if that makes sense.
Nice. No, it makes sense.
So it'll be fun.
We'll get to
And
see a
I'm
lot
on
of
there
it
as well.
on Instagram.
Yeah, we certainly will. We certainly
A lot
will.
of those people like their Instagram. Who was the Chrissy Mayer?
I don't know. They have no videos.
Oh, you
on
just
their
know
page.
it wasn't Chrissy Mayer.
Yeah, like I went to the page and there's no videos. So
Well, I was also gonna say, isn't this? It's Monday.
yeah, she's probably still on air.
She's doing her show, as
Good
far as I
point.
know.
That would be awesome if they were just watching us on their show.
They're like, well, it can be worse. We could be this, and then they watch us.
Like, oh no, they have jokes.
The damn spot. That's who we are. But anyway, but Bobby, you got anything else you want to tell people besides that?
In addition to that, June 3rd, I am at the Factory in Liverpool, Pennsylvania. Sorry to think about that for a second.
Liverpool.
Yeah, not the fun one where they play soccer, but it'll be a fun time. Me, Earl, David Reed. I also wanted to say it was a great show. It was a lot of fun getting to do that. So thank you to him for that opportunity. And who knows what's in the works from that. Head over to anywhere you can buy or stream comedy and get Stage Right with an exclamation point.
That's my special, in case you guys don't know that. Also, go on the Patreon. Join us on there for those $3 a month. You support us. That's great. Subscribe to both. Here's the thing now. When we go live with these shows, if you want to watch live and comment like some people have during the shows, we'd love to have you on. We might even start having some of the people that are listening. Maybe we'll throw them links and have them be guests on the show sometimes, depending if we feel it's a good thing to do. We will announce it in the Patreon an hour or two before we go on when we're going to go live. We'll put links up. I'll try to share my Facebook too, but we'll let people know. But if you want to know, you have to subscribe to Bobby Tamburo's YouTube, because if you subscribe there, he will let you. That's where we're doing the live.
Yep.
Now, once the live is done, it's not on his thing anymore. So you want to watch it after, you got to watch it over on the Patreon. We'll put some of them on the POS YouTube as well, but we'll probably put more clips and things of that nature on there going forward. But we'll put some shows on there as well for the beginning. But if you want to watch it right away, it'll be, if you finish it live, it'll be over on the POS podcast Patreon. So join for like $3 and you can see the show and watch it and anything you missed on there. I think it's how we're going to move it going forward, because we have some plans of possibly doing different kinds of recordings. I think that'll make more sense then, because we don't know what we're going to be allowed to do. Anyway,
Yeah, we'll
so
figure it all out.
we'll figure it all out when we get there. We say that a lot, whatever. Besides that, I'll be on Chaz and AJ again this Wednesday morning. And then Saturday, I'm at the Black Hog Brewery in Oxford. So the career is going tremendously. Going well. Don't search that in porn. Search that in Google. If you search for Black Hog in porn, it might be a different show than the one I'm on. But besides that, thank you guys so much for watching. Happy birthday, Bobby.
Thanks, Pat.
And
if you can't join them, beat them. Subscribe to both our YouTubes, and don't be a piece